Okay, and another issue that is important to discuss. We are today, um, as I said many times during these videos, are tackled with enormous amount of information around us. And that can easily create FOMO, fear of missing out, which means you're constantly wanting to engage yourself with more and more information. You want to listen to podcasts, you want to listen to audiobooks, you want to, listen to all the music and your friends recommended this and that, and you want to just, consume all that. Now, what I want you to keep in mind that there's all kinds of things we can listen to when we're driving, for example, or when we're doing the dishes, or when we're going on a walk. There's all kinds of things we can tune in to listen to. And it's fabulous that there's this abundance of possibilities. But keep in mind that sometimes your brain just wants to be in complete silence. And I tell you that, and this slide was born after I had that experience. I had to drive over to join my husband at a conference, and he flew in day before, and I drove down the day after. So I had a 4-hour drive in the desert all by myself. So before the drive, I made sure I had my podcast available at hand, and I had my audiobooks, and I have my pocket with all the videos I like to listen to, and I have my SoundCloud with artists I like to listen to, blah, blah, blah. So I have all these elements, in my phone, in my car. And I told people I'm going to be driving so they can call me and we can talk on the way. So I was making sure I'm going to be entertained for 4 hours, drive alone. I was worried that I just made sure everything was in hand. So I always kept busy and engaged during the drive. And the funny thing was that on that day, I had a training for about 4 hours. So when I got into the car, the last thing my mind was able to do is tune in to more information or talk to people or listen to something. And I drove for 3.5 hours straight in complete silence. That's the only, I didn't even listen to the radio, and I didn't have any of the conversation I planned to have. So only in the last 30 minutes, I listened to something because I felt like it. But for the entire 3.5 minutes, I was driving in the desert all alone in complete silence. That's the best thing that my mind could have. That's what it was asking for. So what I'm asking is that, and I was shocked that that was my experience. What I'm asking from you is to tune into your brain just before you go into the habit of clicking play for something, and ask, what do you feel like having now? Maybe it's complete silent. Maybe it's classical music you want to listen to. Maybe it's alpha waves. Maybe you want to listen to a podcast, a video, an audiobook, whatever. There's so much music. There's so many options, but ask your brain first before you dive in, and don't get into this very harsh or tough routine of every time I jog, I listen to a podcast. Every time I do the dishes, I listen to an audiobook. Every time I drive, I listen to whatever, the radio. Ask yourself before, what is it that you need right now? And many times it'll be nothing. Many times it'll be even surprising elements. I recently found, like a couple of years ago, that classical music, when I drive back from work, classical music is what I feel good, and it pumps me up, and it energizes me, and it gives me value. And I was never a listener of classical music, not at home growing up, or not after. I was never a fan of classical music. I never understood classical music. I still don't understand classical music, but when I tune into it in certain elements, certain times of the day, after certain activities, it's just relaxing and inspiring and energizing. So just don't get into that tough habit of consumption. Ask and make sure, if your brain is way too pumped up with so many things that it's already consumed in the past week or in the past day, make sure you pamper it with the right elements. And sometimes nothing is the best present you can give yourself.